You've left your old life, your old self, behind. I'm all the family you need now.
Horror games are some of the most popular, beloved games in all of gaming. From jump scare titles that only exist to scare the crap out of you, or survival horror games where you take the role of a character who has to fight and survive against evil. Bottom line, fear sells. As society's tolerance for scary goes up, game developers are still out here making new horror scenarios. Or remaking them because they accidentally deleted the old one. One horror experience that has been stuck in the forefront of my mind for years is the 2003 PS2 game Manhunt. Created by Rockstar Games, a game studio who is no stranger to the M for Mature rating, Manhunt is a horror game in which you play as a man named James Earl Cash, a convicted death row inmate who has to fight, hide, and most of all in my case, run from murderers, killers, and all different types of crazies, all for sport, in some psychotic snuff film TV show that takes place in the fictional Carcer City. Manhunt is one of Rockstar's more controversial games they've created, and that's saying something from the creators of Grand Theft Auto, but it's true. This is a violent, horrifying game that has been banned in various countries for its gore and upsetting imagery. This game has creeped me out ever since I first laid eyes on the commercial many years ago.
Can you stop the hunt before you are taken down? Manhunt by Rockstar Games. Rated M for Mature.
Does this game still have the ability to creep me out almost 20 years later? Well, let's dive in and find out. Spoiler alert. Yes. I've been afraid of horror movies for the majority of my life. It's true, I'm a little bitch. Hey, what can I say? When you're left unsupervised at a young age and have access to cable TV shows and movies, sometimes you're gonna see something you probably shouldn't have. Especially when your oldest sister lets you watch Nightmare on Elm Street at only 5 years old. Thanks, big sis. I hate you. She also let me watch the South Park movies, so that probably explains my filthy mouth.
Terrence, why would you call me a pig fucker?
Well, let's see. First of all, you fuck pigs.
Oh, yeah.
This fear of horror started to fade when I got more into horror-themed video games such as Silent Hill, Parasite Eve, Dino Crisis, Twisted Metal Black, and of course,
Resident Evil.
those games really helped me conquer a lot of fears in my younger days. However, there are still a lot of games out there that still have the ability to terrify me and make me feel as I did as a child. Manhunt being one of those games. Some of you may be thinking I'm overreacting or just sensitive. Okay, so let's dive into Manhunt and see what makes it so scary. As I said earlier, you play as Cash, an inmate sentenced to death. On what is supposed to be your execution day, you suddenly find yourself alone, talking to a disembodied voice communicating to you via an earpiece that informs you that you are being watched and also filmed for a twisted snuff film in which you are the star. After hearing this information, you have no choice but to go forward into the dark streets of Carcer City and play this vile game. This is where the game's tutorial starts. Now, besides this game being classified as a survival horror game, I would also label this a stealth game, which is right up my alley. My favorite game of all time is a stealth-based game. However, unlike Metal Gear Solid, I don't really have that much control over the situation in Manhunt. Not being seen is the point of the game. You arm yourself with various weapons in an effort to sneak behind unsuspecting enemies and put them on a t-shirt. Is this a plastic bag? The fuck am I gonna use this for? Am I going to the corner store? Give me some chips. Oh. That was fucked up. You'll hide in the shadows waiting for the right moment and then pop out and do something horrific to your victims. If you are caught, or just say screw it, you can straight up fight, stealth be damned. Fighting controls are pretty simple, nothing too crazy, so 1v1s are pretty easy. Although the problem with that is that if one or more person catches you, they're gonna jump your ass. So it's better to take the quiet approach. Manhunt is about survival, hence the name Manhunt. You're the man they're hunting. This entire game, you're in a constant state of you versus the odds. You have to get through obstacles, all while being hunted like an animal. And besides the sick son of a bitch in your ear guiding you, who clearly just wants you to entertain him for no other reason than to make this gross movie, nothing in this game is here to help you. There's a mini-map, but it doesn't always tell you everyone's location 24/7. So, unless you lure enemies out yourself by hitting a wall or throwing something to get their attention, your best bet is to carefully check your corners and use your eyeballs. The enemy's line of sight in this game is pretty far, so every area you have to proceed with caution, because you never know what's about to jump out at you. Ah, you fuck!
Hold him down.
I don't like that. I get a sense of panic when I don't know where things are coming from, and to make it worse, when you're sneaking, there's a consistent heartbeat sound for no other reason than to make you tense. Like I said, I don't like that shit. On the plus side, like I said, you can arm yourself with a variety of weapons to boost your confidence against these lunatics, so at least there's that. Certain weapons have limited use. Some go away after you kill someone, or some go away after you run out of ammo. Yes, there are guns in this game. A lot of the later levels, this game turns into a straight up cover-based gunfight. And this is where the horror of the game starts to fade for me, if I'm honest. Having certain weapons in games boost my confidence pretty high. As creepy as a lot of things in this game are, suddenly they start to get less creepy when I'm armed with a shotgun. Bang! 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 Step away from me! Bang! That being said, just because you're armed with a shotgun doesn't mean you're invincible. You better hit them headshots or you're gonna eat some bullets. So for the most part, you have a pretty good selection of weapons, or murder tools, as I like to call them, and you'll need all of them for the twisted psychos coming after you. On that note, let's talk about the enemies. I would not be afraid of this game as much if you were up against nameless, faceless NPCs. However, I think a survival horror game is only as good as the horrific adversaries in it, and that's where Manhunt shines if you ask me. As the game progresses, the types of enemies you go up against will change with every new location. For the worse. The commercial for this game that I witnessed so many years ago featured this lovely individual. I don't like it, he looks like he belongs in The Purge! Various different groups of enemies will start to emerge the more levels you complete. As you are forced to different locations through Carcer City, you will get introduced to various gangs who have all been brought together to hunt you down. You have the Smileys, a group of serial killer ex-prisoners who look like they should be locked away in the deepest part of Arkham Asylum. You have the War Dogs, a group of crazy Call of Duty cosplayers in military fatigues and full ghillie suits who carry guns and machetes. The Skins are a violent gang of white supremacists. Yeah, that one sounds fun.
Sounds like our monkey.
Bro, why do you keep calling me that? I feel uncomfortable.
It's a sign of the weaker race, an instinct to hide.
What?
I can't find this goddamn freak.
The Innocents are a gang compromised of nightmare fuel, apparently. But what is a survival horror game without its poster horror threat? Resident Evil has characters like Nemesis and Birkin, Silent Hill has Pyramid Head, and Manhunt has, well, allow me to introduce you to Pigsy.
Terrence, why would you call me a pig fucker?
Pigsy is a massive deranged cannibal who wears a dead pig's head as a mask and also carries a chainsaw, clearly inspired by the Texas Chainsaw Massacre's Leatherface. Pigsy used to be the star of these movies before Cash. When he was no longer needed, Pigsy was locked away and fed various dead bodies as an easy way to dispose of them. Pigsy is more or less the last boss of the game, a giant, terrifying creature who chases you with a chainsaw and makes pig noises. Why, man? Just why? The criminal element in Manhunt is terrifying. All of these murderous, messed up groups of people banded together for no other reason than to participate in a snuff film starring you. That is an unsettling thought, honestly. The idea that there are people out there in the world that actually enjoy the sick, twisted things you're forced to do on camera is a messed up thought to have swirling in your head whilst playing this game. You would like to think that stuff like this only exists in fictional media. However, if you've ever been to the wrong side of Twitter, you've probably seen some crazy shit. The man who's collecting this footage, who's guiding you through an earpiece, is enjoying every minute of gratuitous violence, and it's pretty gross to hear.
This is some of the best snuff I've seen.
And that's why Manhunt is so effective. I have been using words like unsettling and horrific a lot, and honestly no other words are really fitting for Manhunt. This game's explicit themes and gory visuals stand out to me years after I first laid eyes on it. Rockstar is known for its more mature themed games like GTA, Red Dead, and Max Payne, but they don't really have anything else like Manhunt, and there's a good reason for that. If you thought that Grand Theft Auto was a controversial game in the early 2000s, what do you think people thought about this game?
It's not your fault your mother was a dirty whore.
What the fuck? Oh my god! Wow. What? Head? I got his fucking head? What the fuck?
And that's the point. Manhunt is a disturbing game that exists to make the player feel uncomfortable, and it does its job very well. You are forced to do these horrible acts. And yes, Cash is not a hero, or even a decent person. But something tells me, given the option, he would rather be doing literally anything else. But he doesn't have the choice. This game is not about murder, it's about survival and what you're willing to do to get it. I believe the best horror games out there are the ones that stay with you to a certain degree. The ones that are still scary and still affect you no matter how many times you play them. One of the most iconic scenes in Resident Evil is the first time you lay eyes on a zombie. The slow head turn moment is still a scary scene no matter how many times I see it. Its horror sticks with you, and Manhunt has stuck with me for almost 20 years. It deserves to be remembered alongside the greats of the genre. On that note, does Manhunt deserve a third game or even a reboot? I don't know about that, honestly. The original release of this game was filled with a lot of controversy, and I don't want to be one of those people that say something like this would never be made in today's time, but I think that's kind of true. However, personally, I just don't think Rockstar has it in them anymore. Hell, they barely work on anything that's not called Grand Theft Auto. And even now, with this new rebirth of survival horror, I don't think we're getting anything Manhunt related anytime soon. But if we did, I can only imagine the twisted game that modern day Rockstar could release. And that's terrifying. Hey everyone, what's going on? If you made it this far in the video, I'd like to say thank you. This is the first time I've ever made something like this, so I had fun. I had a fun time making this video. I plan on making more of these, so if you enjoyed this video, your support would mean the world to me. And if you're craving even more Manhunt, Liam Triforce, another YouTuber, made a very, very good video a while ago on the game. It's in the description in the bottom, so if you want to check that out. Have a good night, morning, evening, wherever you are. Have a good one. Peace!